What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Life Goes On 24/7. We got a little bit of a story time again today. And that's going to be the time that I almost lost my life in basic training for the United States military in Fort Benning, Georgia. So Fort Benning, Georgia is the only base in the United States for the U.S. Army that is an infantry base. I signed up for 11 Bravo, which is close combat infantry, door kickers. So it was a 5-mile run that we were going on. It was a company run where everyone in the company gets up about 04:05, which is about 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. and they just go for a run all together. They do the cadence and everything like that. And it was about mile 3. And the day before, I just kept slamming water, because that's the only thing that you can do there is drink water pretty much. So we went on our company run. Like I said, it was about mile 3, 3.5 maybe. We weren't that far off from coming back to the barracks, and I started to fall back, which means everyone was running, and I was slowly starting to fall back to the bottom of the pack. And I started just getting really dizzy, and I couldn't really keep my balance. My balance was off. And once the drill sergeant started noticing that I was falling back, they slowed down also while everybody kept going, and they started to scream at me. If you ever seen videos on YouTube or Facebook, they don't play around. They mean business. So I had one in my face, I had one in my left ear, one in my right ear, and they were calling me every single name in the book. I'm not talking about calling me sunshine or good job or anything like that. They were coming at me hard. So I just kept pushing myself. I just kept going. They keep telling me to quit, and I didn't quit. I'm not a quitter. So I just kept pushing myself. And eventually it got to the point where I pretty much lost consciousness, and I totally forgot where I was. I do remember coming back, and I was in the back of a Taco. They call it in the Army, the Taco, which is a Toyota Tacoma. So I was in the back of that, and they took me to the parking lot of the barracks. And I remember waking up, and I was being completely stripped of all my clothes. They cut off my uniforms and everything like that. Now, I was in front of 40, 50 other guys that I barely even know, butterball naked, all right? I was wearing nothing but a smile. I mean, technically not a smile, but they got the ice sheets out, which are big, pretty much bed sheets, saturated in ice water. So they put them under the areas, like the groin, the armpits, stuff like that on my face. They only covered my face just so my nose was sticking out, just so I can breathe. And, I was coming in and out of consciousness. I couldn't really remember what happened. And the drill sergeant, one of them, came over me, and they looked at me, and they're like, this kid is going to die. We have to call a paramedic. So I fell back out of consciousness. They called a paramedic, and I woke up in the back of an ambulance with a rectal thermometer shoved up my ass. That was the most uncomfortable thing you can ever imagine, all right? I've never had anything close to my butthole, all right? I woke up and I was screaming because this thing was up my butt, all right? They were just trying to get my internal body temperature to get an actual reading, because you can't do like a mouth thermometer because it throws it off. So fast forward a little bit, in the ambulance, I'm dozing in and out, back again, trying to remember what happened. They bring me to the hospital, they rush me in, and automatically they get both arms, and they do IVs in both arms, try and get my body back up to date because my sweating stopped. And that's a big thing about like heat stroke and heat exhaustion is you stop sweating because your body is trying to cool itself down, but it can't. So when you sweat, that's your body cooling yourself off. So my sweating stopped, period. Um, One of the paramedics came in and they were doing all my vitals and everything like that. After they put the IVs in, they took me up to my room, and one of the doctors came in. And he's like, "All right, yo, can I talk to you?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. What's going on?" Now, at this point, I am conscious and I am know what's going on. He came in and he said my internal body temperature is 103.2. Now, any of you guys out there that are in the medical field, you know that that's extremely, extremely high. All right, heat stroke, and your body starts to shut down at 104, which means it increases pressure in your brain, and you pretty much your organs are cooking themselves from the inside out, which is pretty much just like a microwave, one big microwave in your body. So after he was telling me everything like that, he looked down at me after he was looking at the paper and he said, "You're lucky to be alive, honestly." And, from that moment, I took life in a whole different meaning, all right? You don't ever think that something like that's going to happen to you. I was on the brink of death, going in and out of consciousness and not really knowing what's going on. Now, in basic, when I was in the hospital, they wouldn't allow my family to come down to see me. Well, first of all, they didn't even tell my family, period. I had to call them and personally tell them, and they wouldn't let them come down and see me. So I'm in the hospital by myself, in a different state, by myself, under these circumstances. It was certainly very, very scary for me, not knowing what's going on and stuff like that. So I think total, I had about 8 or 9 IV bags. They were stacked up on the counter next to me, one by one next to each other, 8 or 9 of them, because I had absolutely no types of fluid in my body whatsoever. So about 4 or 5 days after everything settled, I did get released. A drill sergeant came to pick me up, took me back to the barracks, and then from the barracks the next morning, I had to go to sick call, they call it, which is pretty much like a nurse's station on base, or one of them on base. So I went there, and I got my vitals done again. As soon as you step in, you get weighed, and they do your blood pressure. So I waited and waited like 2 or 3 hours in this little building with 45, 50, 60 guys going in and out, coughing hysterically, wearing masks, and just that kind of stuff, all right? So after I left sick call, they put me on profile for a week straight, which means profile, something's wrong with you, whether it be you're sick or you have a migraine or you sprained your ankle, anything that happens to you in a bad way, if you will, like a broken finger, leg, anything like that, you're not allowed to train until you go back to sick call and get cleared from it. So I was on sick call for about 4 or 5 days. I did nothing but bed rest. I'm in the barracks by myself, and I just pretty much cleaned to keep my mind busy. If you guys ever watched any of like prison YouTube channels, basic training for the military is like prison, all right? It sucks. The food's gross. The people suck. You pretty much get told when to pee, when to eat, when to go to the bathroom, when to shower, when to shave, when to go to bed. It's horrible, but till this day, I still do not regret, going into the military. That's just one of the very stories that I do have. I have a lot of them throughout my time that I could talk to you about. I just felt like this was one of the more scarier ones for me. If you guys would like to see more videos about the military and what I went through and what it's like, please smash the like button, drop a comment down below, and I'll be sure to make another video explaining, different stories. I have a lot of them. So after this video, I just want to say Merry Christmas to you guys, alright? Happy New Year. Make sure to be safe, don't do anything stupid. Do not drink and drive. If you do, go to that video I posted 2 days ago, the day I got arrested, and watch that also. My most recent video is, I just uploaded it, I think 2 days ago, and it's getting over a breakup. Alright, please go and check that out. Hit the like button also, comment. And if you guys haven't already, please subscribe. I was looking at the analytics on YouTube, and there are majority of the people that watch my videos are unsubscribed. So please hit the subscribe button. Only thing you need to do is make a Google account. It'll take 2 seconds. You just put in your name,